plus size industry really is a large industry, no pun intended, and it continues to grow, thanks to movements like body positivity. You know, catchphrases we hear from singers like Lizzo, from actresses like Gabori Sidibe, and yes, even from models who occupy the space on Sports Illustrated, people like Ashley Graham. We see you, Miss Graham. And none of this could be possible without the women who have envisioned, designed, and dressed these incredible people. I want to introduce you to one such woman today. Her name is Monif Clarke of Monif C plus sizes. How are you, Monif?
How are you? Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited. Pivots are actually one of my favorite conversations.
Yeah?
So this should be good, yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Well, you know, every story has a good beginning, but I want to start with the uniqueness of your name, Monif. Where did that come from?
Well, I have one of those, my mother was one of those kind of ornery people. She just wanted things her way. So she saw Monifa in a baby book and she was like, that's cute, but I don't like that A.
Oh.
So she took it off.
Took it off.
That was it.
Don't like it? Move it.
And the funny thing about it is when I tell the story, when I was naming my brand, you know, I didn't know anything about how you figure out a name for a company. And so I was coming up with all these things. I remember I read a book and it was like, one of the ways you can come up with a name for a company is to like take your street name and like turn it around. I lived at 37 Devon Drive. So I came home one day and I said, what if we named it Devon 37? And she goes, I gave you such a beautiful name. Just name it after you. And I was like, Monif C.
There you
go.
Mama to the rescue again.
That's right.
So that's a really intriguing story.
Yeah.
You grew up on a place called Devon. This is in the U.S.
Yes.
What was life growing up for you in the U.S.?
Well, I mean, it was great. You know, I am an American-born citizen. My mother and father are Bajan. It was really great to be able to have the opportunity to live in the U.S. and all the opportunity that comes there. Of course, challenges too. And then also having my Caribbean background and parents. So I felt like I kind of got the little bit of the best of both worlds. Yeah.
It must have been interesting, especially because, I mean, being a North American child of Barbadian parents,
Yes.
you kind of grow up with both cultures
You do.
coexisting as opposed to clashing.
You do.
Yeah, but I mean, one always seems to kind of like rise to the top
Yeah.
when the circumstance requires
Yep,
it.
yep.
You know?
It's like you would all, you know, I tell people, they say, do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving? I'm like, yeah, but we always have a little cuckoo and a little saltfish there too.
Little something.
Yeah, a little something.
To give thanks.
yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. So your parents sound like they were an incredible influence
Yeah,
in
they
your
were.
life.
They definitely were. I mean, my parents, they felt that their responsibility was to raise us so that we can live the life that we wanted and not necessarily the life that they wanted us to live. And I think that that's a really big distinction because a lot of parents are like, you got to go to school and do this and do that and make sure you do this. And they kind of give you this rule pattern. And my parents were like, I just want you to be happy, successful. I want to give you wings so that you can fly. And that was their philosophy. And then I come from a long line of women that were kind of tough and business minded. My grandmother, you know, she did her bananas and everything, sold it in the market, originally from Turner's Hall, St. Andrews. So she would go down to, you know, town every day and sell her wares. My mother got into selling everything from encyclopedias to costume jewelry, just women that kind of wanted their own. So I grew up with that kind of seeing that often.
Swipe, earn, and save with Massycard. Sign up today. Call 418-CARD. That's 418-2273 for more details.
But you weren't necessarily geared strictly towards business because
No.
you're actually a STEM girl.
I am a STEM girl, yeah. So that comes from my dad's side. So my dad has a degree in math and computer science, and then he has a master's in business. So he was the one that helped us with homework and everything. So me and my brother and my sister, we're all mathematicians. Even though I'm the only one who actually has a math degree, because I have a math and computer science degree. But he made sure that we were very good at all the math and all the sciences. So it just put me in this mind frame that go to school, study math, study science. He always used to say, I want you to go to college to learn how to think, what you do with that degree afterwards is your business, but if you go into school as a STEM student, you're probably going to learn how to problem solve. And that was what I learned.
Well, then where did you think you were headed at that time?
Oh, girl, I had so many different things. First of all, I didn't want to stay in school long. That was probably my first pivot. I got to about year 2 and I was like, 4 years of this?
Wow.
Really? I was a person that I had a lot of great opportunities outside of the university setting. I was a member of an organization called the National Society of Black Engineers, which is a student-run organization. So I used to fly all over, give different conferences, do different things. So I didn't live the life of like a normal 19-year-old. I saw a lot outside of that. So college just felt like, this is moving too slow. Like, when do I get to do the fun things I want to do? So, but you know, I said to myself, I'm here, let me finish it. And at that point, I was just like, what can I graduate with all of these credits? And they were like math. And I was like, sign me up for that. I don't want to do anything else. I can get out of here. So, so I was supposed to be a mathematician. And then I thought, I don't know if I want to go in corporate America. So then I got involved with nonprofit organizations because at that time, which was about, 20 years ago, there was a big push to try to get Black and brown children access to computer education.
Wow.
Because that was at a time where there was something called the digital divide. And believe it or not, it sounds so weird, but people did not have computers at home. People didn't even have cell phones.
Yeah.
So we're going into this digital age, but people don't have the tools. So it's specifically also in our communities. So one of the things that I did is I went into the nonprofit field and I was doing this program management around trying to get computers into children's hands. So I feel like I have like a philanthropic / educational background. That's always been something I've been into. Right. I did that for a while and I was kind of like, I don't know about this
either. Maybe not for a lifetime.
Let me tell you, I was like, I don't know. And then a cousin of mine who's based in the UK, I went to visit her. And you know, Caribbean people, we know this. We have family all over. We don't even know half of them. So it was like, yeah, you've got this cousin, Trisha, she's in the UK. And I went to visit her. And turns out she was in the fashion business. Oh. And so she took me into one of her factories. And I remember saying, why isn't anybody doing clothes like this for plus size women? And she was literally standing behind me and she goes, why don't you do it? And I was like, because
I have a math degree.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, you're very stylish. You always look cute. But at that time, I was getting a lot of my clothes made. There wasn't anything in the market that I was really excited about.
Because I was going to ask, I'm like, well, what were you dressing
I mean, I literally was just going and having seamstress make clothes for me if I had an event. Or, you know, like anybody who's overseas would understand this. You know, you walk into Express, you buy a pair of size 13 boot cut pants. You might be a size 16, but you squeeze yourself in it. You know, you wear the cardigan with the little tank top. I mean, you would find ways to make it work. But any plus size woman knows the struggle of trying to find things. But I used to have a lot of stuff made. And she was like, well, if you have an eye for it, try it. And then I literally taught myself the fashion industry in like 6 months. And I had a clothing, I immersed myself. I'm one of those people, if I have to learn something, I'm going to Google, I'm going to read every book, I'm going to ask every question. I bugged people who did not know me. I went to trade shows and I would be like, so tell me about how I get into this. And they'd be like, who are you? And then I happened to meet a guy named Carrie Marcus who was at a trade show and I wanted him to do production for me. I was like, I want to start this collection. And he was like, kid, get out of here. Who are you? Yeah. And I was like, no, I want to do this. And he gave me his card. And I think he gave it to me kind of like yeah, sure.
And she'll never call.
Yeah, contact me, no problem. And he got a phone call from me the next day, ignored it. Got another phone call from me, ignored it. I went to his office the day after that. And I was like, I'm here to see Carrie Marcus. And his assistant goes, okay, we'll go get him. Go in the back. And she comes back and she's like, did you have an appointment? And I'm like, no. And she was like, well, he's a little busy. I said, okay, well, tell him I'll pass by tomorrow.
Because you're coming back.
I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And then I literally went there about 3 times. And he goes, if I don't help you, you're going to keep coming back. So what can I do for you? And I said, I want to get into the fashion industry and I want to make clothes for plus size women. And he said, I think it's a waste of time because plus size women want to lose weight and they're not interested in spending money. So you're wasting your time. But okay, when he calls over, so he's like, come over here, Craig, bring my book. And he's like, go to this person for your fabric, go to this person for your samples, go to this person for your patterns, now get out of my office.
Swipe, earn, and save with Massycard. Sign up today. Call 418-CARD. That's 418-2273 for more details.
Carrie Marcus has probably told you something that a lot of people in the industry were thinking at the time. Well, what's the point in making bigger clothes when they're trying to get smaller anyhow? In fact, we'll do them a favor and not give them clothes as a form of influence to get smaller.
Absolutely.
Where's the flaw in that?
Well, and first of all, you have to dress. Last I checked, I think it's illegal to walk outside your house naked.
Right,
I think people would prefer you to have clothes on.
Yeah.
And then I also think that it comes down to a respect and a worth. Regardless, I am a person, I have no problem with people making changes in their body or changes. You want to cut your hair, you want it longer, you want to lose weight, you want to gain weight, whatever it is. That doesn't determine your worth or your value. So why do we think that it's okay to tell somebody you can only have nice things once you fit into this box? And if you don't fit into this box, we're not going to give you nice things. That's ridiculous. You still have to get dressed. You still have to feel good about yourself. You still got to suit up and go through life. So you should have something nice to do it in.
Now, you're a numbers lady. Do you remember statistically the average size of the average U.S. woman around the time you wanted to do that?
It's size 16. And I think it's 50-somebody% of women are size 16 and over.
Right. So at the time, half of America was left unaccounted for. So what was happening?
Well, I mean, there's a number of things. I mean, the fashion industry overall is very kind of snooty. And there's this idea that, again, if you don't fit into this, if you don't look like Jennifer Aniston, you are of no value.
Right.
There's a lot of racism also.
Yes.
And, because there's a lot of women of color that are naturally larger size. And so it's kind of like, you're not important, right? You're not going in the store and dropping $3,000 on a Donatella Versace dress, so we could care less what you wear. Right? So those sorts of things go into it. There's a natural fat bias. And I'm one of those people where I try to stick to the clothes and I try not to get into the political statements about it. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of until you do this, you should not have this.
Right.
And I just think that that's ridiculous. I mean, we've seen it, the natural hair care business. How many women of color have not had things to use in their hair until people like Carol's Daughter and Shea Moisture and different that came along, because it was not seen a value. Yes, we know that consumer is there, but we don't think we have to service them. They'll figure it out on their own.
Right. Right. So it's hard not to be political when literally you are wearing it on your back or not, as the case may be.
True.
Swipe, earn, and save with Massycard. Sign up today. Call 418-CARD. That's 418-2273 for more details.
So along comes this young, vivacious, almost petulant young woman. She wants to do something that the experts are telling her is a waste of time.
But maybe about 5 to 7 years after I started is when you started to see a surge in more visibly plus size celebrities. Jennifer Hudson, Raven Simone, Sherry Shepherd, who else? I'm naming names. Those women.
Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah's been there for a while. There, you started to see Adele, Megan McCarthy. You started to see, even Lizzo. I mean, we supplied the clothes for Lizzo's very first tour. This is before Lizzo became Lizzo, right?
Yeah.
So people, I mean, even down to, we did all the clothing for Mariah Carey's background singers because all 3 of her background singers were plus size women and she needed uniformity. Kimora Lee Simmons, when she got pregnant, we dressed her for the Essence cover. She wasn't even plus, but her stylist was like, we need something,
though.
So they would come to us because I think they realized we have these women who are getting out there and we don't have any clothes for them. And we could go through the rigmarole of trying to get Michael Kors to make something in their size, but there's people actually doing this. So let's just go to them. What I say to people, like, I didn't plan to become a fashion designer. So I can't tell you what the next plan is going to be. I didn't plan to move to Barbados until I moved to Barbados.
Right.
You know, I didn't plan for a lot of these things. Like, you know, I've been blessed that I've been looked after, you know. Father above has made sure that I've been good. So wherever I'm placed, we'll see what happens.
And what would your final thought be for especially anyone who's thinking, you know, I've had this burning idea on my chest and it is weighing me down and I don't know where to begin. I don't even know if I should do this. It's so scary.
Well, I think that a big part of being an entrepreneur is you got to have kahunas. You have to be willing to take a risk. I do think that it's important to take calculated risks. So, you know, 24-year-old Monif would have been like, just jump out there and do it. 41-year-old Monif is like, you have a job, you could put some money away. Okay, start working on your business little by little, whether it's as a hobby, you do it on the weekends, whatever, and expand it from there. But I do believe that we all have something in our belly, like you said, it's just like biting at you. And as much as we're like, oh no, I'm just gonna go about do the regular whatever it is, it's
the
still,
safe thing.
The safe thing. It nips at you. So I just tell people, go for it. Do your research. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. I think that people want to start businesses and they just want to start. And I'm like, you have to do the research. You have to make sure you have a market. You have to do the finances. You cannot look past business plans because they feel boring to you. You have to do, it is a process. And any sort of, just like with a house, you have to build things on a solid foundation. So just do your research and go for it.
So there are other names that are in the industry that people would know well. And your name is right up there with them. Would you say you were one of the pioneers?
Absolutely. I mean, when I came out, there was literally Lane Bryant. I mean, if anybody knows anything about the plus size industry, Lane Bryant, Ashley Stewart, Torrid, you know, you were looking at maybe a Marina Rinaldi, then you would have people like Abby Z, and these are like some of the smaller companies. What you see now, no, I mean, even being able to go on a site like Fashion Nova or Shine or any of them and being able to click and see plus size clothing, that was not happening then. They weren't even putting plus size models in magazines.
Frustrated at the lack of quality and size in plus size fashions, our next guest actually did something about it.
Our next guest helped to put plus-size fashions on the map. Monif Clarke is the CEO of Monif C Plus Sizes, a New York-based business.
What were you seeing in the market before you got there?
The marketers would use words like slimming, lose 10 pounds with this dress, and I didn't want that. I wanted to be sexy, curvaceous. I wanted my dresses to fit.
Got cute stuff. Yeah, so go Monif.
Hi, I'm Monif Clarke, the CEO and founder of Monif C Plus Sizes. I started Monif C because I am a size 18 woman. I've been plus size my entire life and was really frustrated with the fact that I couldn't find clothes that I felt reflected my style, my personality, and who I was. In 2005, when I started Monif C, I went and I visited all the major retailers. And what I was told time and time again was, if this line was in straight sizes, it would be a smashing success. But because it's in plus sizes, we don't think that the women are ready for this sort of fashion forward clothing. And I just knew that that could not be true. That is why I decided to take the bull by the horn and start Monif C myself. We are really creating and designing clothes specifically for the plus size woman. These clothes are engineered garments, the right boning, the right seams. We have fit models that are size 14 and 18 and 24 because we want to see the clothes on a variety of body types, whether you're short or tall. We want to make sure that the fabrics fit but also accentuate curves and don't dig into curves. Those are things that I think about because I'm a plus size woman. I try on everything that we create in our collection because I want to make sure that if I'm sending it out to you that it looks great and you're going to be happy with the product. Looking forward, we're now a 7-figure business and we're growing.
And I believe that that proves what I knew all along, which is that plus size women deserve to be celebrated and deserve the same fashion forward clothing that's available for women of other sizes. One of the things I'm really happy about and proud of is that we have Monif C customers all over the globe. Everywhere from London to Singapore to Africa to Canada. These are women that are emailing us and are saying, thank you for Monif C, thank you for believing in plus size women that look just like you. And this is what wakes me up every single morning, knowing that we are impacting the lives of women all over the globe, knowing that I'm changing the attitude of what mainstream thinks plus size women are. The future of Monif C is a bright one. We are going to continue to kick down doors and innovate for the plus size woman. We can't wait to show you what's next.
But we get to peek behind now on her laptop to see how she comes up with these great designs. Hi, how are you?
I am good.
Good.
Well, I actually most times are in my pajamas in my bedroom, so I spiffied up for you today.
My dream job.
I may have mentioned, many people know us for our dresses and our swim. We actually decided, my team, I worked with my assistant designer Brandon in New York to work on a new swim collection for 2020. I can show you a few sneak peeks. I can't show you everything, Gay, now, because some of these pieces are going to be sold in Forever 21 next year. But this is my mantra since day one. So, you know, it's lingerie inspired, well, I should say it's swimwear inspired by lingerie. We've got some garter details. When I designed the bust in these double self-facing for stability, we made sure that we're going to put underwire in some of these suits. We've got power net that literally feels like you're wearing Spanx. Adding some of those details in to really show how you can shape the body for a plus size woman. One of the things I love to do about design is that I like to have a detail right underneath the bust line, because what I notice is that the smallest parts of our body usually is literally right underneath the bust line for women, because that's typically the smallest part of our body.
Right.
So I am a true believer in high-waisted garment as opposed to putting details right around the waist. I mean, I kind of have an apple shape myself, so the idea of putting something right around the middle of my belly does not really make me feel good. And I think that that's universally flattering, whether you're hourglass, pear, apple, it works for your bodies. So you'll see we have this detail here on this style, number 2. We've got this detail here. Maybe I'll show you one more. Let me pull one from the back.
This one. Okay.
So you see even here how we curved in the side, that's going to be cutouts there on the side.
Wow.
And my team and I, we are super detailed. I mean, these sketches go to our manufacturer in China. And we're super detailed about, you know, gold square rim trim. Like, I really want these to feel customized for the plus size woman. So this is a little bit behind the curtain of how we come up with some of these designs.
And I tell you what I really love. I love the detail at the shoulder and the neck. Anything that makes my shoulders look more square and strong and gives me the illusion of a long neck, I am here for it.
It really is going to be a nice centerpiece for the top of your body. Have the shoulders really be square and the highlight of this suit.
Right. I love it. And it says Carnival all over it. I love.
This is Monday wear. This is 4 days. But I wanted to bring that is utilizing Caribbean culture through color, and now we're showing it in a different way.
We're trendsetters. We are.